Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, before we start today's analysis, I have a kind plea. Please, let's all of us head down there. There's a button with this sign, thumbs up. That is a like button. Please, all of you, like this video first before you go further on the analysis. I have discovered that so many people forget to like our videos. Please do so, because that is the only way you get this video to be shared to so many other people. There's a common saying that politics is like a game of chess. And in this channel, I've always maintained that indeed politics is like a game of chess. We all know that William RUTO was in the US. So because of that fact, I want to take you to a story that was shared. And this story is regarding a CNN interview on William Samoei Ruto. And this interview was conducted by Richard Quest. So Richard Quest had a question, a very tricky question to William RUTO.
Question, sir. You'll forgive me if it just put it straightforward in good, blunt terms. If a choice is made between investment by China and investment by the United States and companies, which would you prefer?
You know, let me tell you, Quest, many people want to pull us into a conversation as to whether we are facing east or we are facing west. Let me tell you, we are neither facing west nor facing east, we are facing forward.
So that was a response that William RUTO gave, and it's what people have called a smart way of dodging that question. So in my own understanding, RUTO dodged that question. So I want us to escalate this narrative, the dodging, and what Biden would have expected. You know, probably maybe after this trip, expectation would have been, tell the world that you are with us. Maybe that would have been the concern. But you see, RUTO chose to tread carefully and say we don't, we are neither facing east nor west. I want to take you back a bit, because there's a reason why I brought in this analysis. I want to take you back a bit to a certain narrative that William Samoei Ruto unleashed. And it was, I think, last year there. And during that meeting, RUTO had told the people who are actually in attendance, most of them were heads of state, that time has come where the US or the West must respect African heads of state, and that a future where there is only one person representing Africa, that future is already here. So I think he was referring to the AUC chair to be the person representing Africans. So in that session, RUTO also mentioned something about the dollar.
Let me give you an example. Traders from Djibouti selling to Kenya, or traders from Kenya selling to Djibouti, have to look for US dollars. How is US dollars part of the trade between Djibouti and Kenya? Why? And we are saying that today, Afri-Exim Bank have given us a mechanism where traders in our continent can trade in their goods and services, and the Africa-Exim Bank will settle payments in local currency.
Where he talked about Exim Bank. So on the dollar, he was wondering why African states must trade in dollars. Why can't they just have their own common currency in Africa, so that they just buy things through the Exim Bank, and it doesn't have to be dollar.
Kenya champions the Pan-African payment and settlement system that is done by our own institution, the Afri-Exim Bank. Why, members? Why is it necessary for us to buy things from Djibouti and pay in dollars? Why? There is no reason. And we are not against the US dollar. We just want to trade much more freely. Let us pay in US dollars what we are buying from the US. But what we are buying from Djibouti, let's use local currency.
So that was the first narrative that Ruto talked about, and the target was on the US. So this remark which Ruto made back then, that's why I say politics like a game of chess. You must checkmate. So Ruto was literally trying to checkmate Biden in that analysis. So he talked about dollar. And you know, dollar is something that US huwa hawataki iguswe dollar. That is why you find that Russia, China, Brazil, and South Africa, you know, have been, and I think lately there is Argentina. These countries merged, or they have a formation. Then the formation, the bottom line here is to create BRICS, and BRICS is supposed to be a currency that is supposed to trade, so that these countries can use to trade in oil, you know, buying procurement of oil. And lately, I think even Uganda was angling towards becoming a BRICS member, but Uganda has not officially joined. I know there are so many other countries like Burkina Faso who are likely to join the BRICS debate. So if countries form BRICS, so many countries, let's say like 30 countries, 50 countries, if they form BRICS, then rest assured dollar will suffer. So when Ruto touched on dollar, this is what did not sit well with Biden. So back then, Biden was a bit mum. And what we saw is that Jill Biden came to Kenya. And after Jill Biden came to Kenya, there were some loans which were given to Kenya. So then what followed is that Ruto toned down on the narrative of dollar. So also, if you go to a separate interview, this time around now it's BBC. In BBC, the similar question was asked. You see, what we're expecting, ladies and gentlemen, is Chinese to also do the same. Chinese is likely to invite William Ruto for a state visit. So what if Xi Jinping does that and decides that, okay, fine, now that America has moved in to counter, because if you're someone who follows a lot of geopolitics, then you'll agree that there is a scramble for Africa. Right now, there's a scramble for Africa. France wants to have a share. Germany wants to have a share. India wants to have a share. China wants to have a share. Russia wants to have a share. UK wants to have a share. USA wants to have a share. So all this are pointing to the fact that Africa is up for grab, and US has already moved in with a lot of speed to contain this fear that Kenya will slip away. So Xi Jinping could be crafting his own takeover strategy, you know, like the one he crafted when Mwai Kibaki was still in power. You know, most of the time, if you look at these politicians, in fact, these presidents who come on board, the first term, they are always with the West. But the second term, they are always with the East. So if you look at the case of Uhuru, I think Uhuru is the only person who was too much of East. I think that's why you find that Raila Amolo Odinga also found himself being pro-East. And I think that is where now he lost favor with the US. So US wants someone who will continue their agenda in Africa. And Ruto is that person. So Xi Jinping will move with speed to try to counter this pressure that Biden has already exerted in Africa through Kenya. So there is still a lot that is likely to happen. And Ruto is the person here at the center of it all. Xi Jinping will invite William Ruto for a state visit, most likely. And that will happen. And should it happen, there is a possibility that America might withdraw some of the aid. Or maybe if Ruto decides not to respond or agree to the request by China, just like he refused to go to Russia. You remember there's a time the heads of state in Africa were invited to Russia, whereby Museveni was there, Traore, the president of Botswana, was there, and so many other presidents in Africa were there. Yeah, Ramaphosa was also there. I don't remember if Kagame was there, but I think Kagame could have been there. But Ruto did not attend there. So either if Xi Jinping decides to invite Ruto, either Ruto will decide not to attend, so that if he doesn't attend that meeting, then Chinese or China might strike off, might stop transacting with Kenya matters of development. So ladies and gentlemen, perhaps if you watch this video and you're not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. So until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.